Ice Fading Dragon. On the last day of April, I inked 6 pens at once. Four of them I filled with Amarillo Stationery inks from the Amarillo Vibes series, which I'm so excited to show you. Just a preview of the Amarillo Stationery inks. Look at all these gorgeous colors. Alright, the first pen and ink combination that I have here is the Amarillo Stationery Urng Kicks, and I fill it inside my Majohn and 7 with Smith fine nib. It's been ages since I last inked this pen, and I don't know why. Maybe because it's small. While I prefer a bigger pen, but when I ink this, I was like, why didn't I ink this more often? Because the nib is just gorgeous. Oh yeah, and for the Amarillo Stationery inks, they are the colors of the mascot of the Amarillo Stationery, the globe mascot. It's so very cute. I'm having so much fun just looking at what it really is about. I'm so lucky to be able to get a hand-on sample of all these inks because a kind friend have this on her collection and offered to give me some samples, which I'm forever grateful for. I don't think I will be able to get it as easily here in Europe. So about Urng Kicks, these are the sneakers of the mascot. The color is orange at first, but it dries down to like a reddish orange. And I noticed that this changes depending on the paper that you use it on. Sometimes it's more on the reddish side. I think on Aerofoil paper it's the most prominent in there, and sometimes on other paper it looks oranges. So this ink feels as like one of the inks that changes depending on the mood type of, which I am a fan of. Color comparison wise, I think Amarillo Stationery Urn Kicks is the closest with Lancetil fine writing bow tie flamingo, although again with its property that it kind of look differently depending on the paper. This is quite unique by its own. Okay, the second one is Amarillo Stationery Toasty Joggers, and I have it inside my Platinum Century 3776 with medium 14 karat gold nib. I gotta admit though, the Amarillo Stationery Toasty Jogger on the Yusari paper looks quite greenish, and I don't really like this shade of color, but to my surprise, or to not my surprise, this color looks quite different on other paper, so it looks more reddish on Aerofoil paper, and it's also quite pleasant on Tomoe River paper. So while I didn't like my initial impression with it when I wrote on Yusari paper, I ended up loving this ink way more than I thought. And looking at the swatches online, I was quite worried that this ink may be too light for my preference, but to my surprise, this Toasty Jokers is very legible. And I don't know if it is because of the combination of the pen and the ink, because this Platinum Century 3776 is surprisingly well with this ink, or is just this ink is doing way better than I thought. When I write with it on different paper, so not on this swatch card, the coloring, it kinda reminds me of Mary Rose, but now that I look at it side by side, Mary Rose is slightly more pinkish compared to Toasty Jokers, which leans more on the greener side. They are not really similar to any of the swatch cards that I have here, so quite an interesting color over there. So I was looking at the rest of my swatch cards, and just because I felt that I have the similar color to this Amarillo Stationery Toasty Jokers, and I was right. I looked at the wrong part of my swatch cards apparently. The Amarillo Stationery Toasty Joggers is pretty similar to KWZ Honey. How similar it is kind of baffled me as well. Toasty Joker is just slightly more pinkish, but I think in writing they will be pretty close to each other. It's also similar to Fantiman's limited edition 2024 April, although without the shimmers, of course. The next one is quite normal compared to the rest of the colors. Amarillo Stationery Teal Waistband, and I have it inside my Sailor Pro Gear Imperial Black with medium 21 karat gold nib. I may have mentioned this several times that my Sailor Pro Gear Imperial Black is much more on the drier side, so it was quite a gamble to put this in because I don't know anything about Amarillo stationery inks at all, and put it inside one of my pickiest pen in my collection. While it does not write as dark as how it looks like on the swatch card here, I'm quite happy with this combination because it's just this ink brings out the best of the sailor nib with the feedback and such. It's quite wet. I don't feel any dryness when writing with this, and it's just a pleasant experience. And if I look at the swatch card, the green is quite dark, but on writing, it's going pale-ish, which is one of the color property that I enjoy lately in inks. So I really enjoyed this combination, and I'm glad that I put this ink inside this pen. As mentioned before, this is the most normal looking out of the rest of the inks from this Amarillo Vibes collection. It's the closest with Kobe 64 Sumiyoshi Yamate Jet Green. And the last and the one that surprised me the most, Amarillo Stationery Blue Suntan inside my Jinhao 80 with Lamy broad nib. This ink is so gorgeous. There is some kind of chroma shadiness happening, and the color is very dramatic that I cannot help that when I write with this ink, I just stare on my paper just because it's so wonderfully great. I should have planned this drawing better, but hey. One thing though, because this Jinhao 82 is not the most perfect pen, and so sometimes if I don't write with this for quite a long time, then the ink kind of darkens inside this. And also, out of the four inks from Amarillo Stationery, this one does not flow as well as I wanted it to be. I don't know if it's because of the pen or the ink. Because the previous inking in this pen, I filled this pen with the quite heavy shimmer, so I suspect that some of the shimmer may clog the fit somehow still. That aside, the writing experience of this Amarillo Stationery Blue Suntan inside this Jinhao 80 with Lamy Prot Nib is just so good. I especially enjoyed the color chroma shadiness the most. I cannot stop staring at it. Color comparison wise, maybe it's the closest with Diamine Infant 2025 Overcast. Overcast is more leaning on the purplish side, while Blue Suntan is a bit greenish. If I compare the writing of the Teal Waistband and the Blue Suntan, they are pretty close, and the rest are quite bright. Those are the four Amarillo stationery inks from the Amarillo Vibes that I have, and aside from that, I have two more pens which have the pilot parallel nibs. The first one is this 3.8 millimeter, and I fill it with Octopus Fluids Pastel Inks Blue Iris. This ink is so very light that I only use it for decoration on my pen pal letters. I am quite impatient, I think, for writing with the Pilot Parallel 3.8. I need to write really slowly, but because I write pretty fast, then the writing that I do with this is always not uniform. So what I usually do with this is just have some random scribbles and or patterns on the sides of my pen palette, that works. So this is just one of my fun pens. And as for the color, it is so very light. So if I were to put it inside a pen, I don't even know if it will be legible or not. It is the paler, purpler version of Diamond Event 2025 Gala. I like the color, but it's just way too light. It's going to be good in drawings though, which I haven't done yet, and I probably need to. Okay, this is the last one. I have Ferris wheel press Spadina rose, and this one has shimmer in it because a friend that gave the sample put in the Wearingeul hard shimmer in it. This shimmer surprised me a lot because I don't even know what the color of the shimmer is, and I should have researched beforehand, but I didn't. So on some angles it looks like pinks, on some other angles it looks like yellow, and I think it's also bluish. I don't know, it confuses me, but at the same time I'm having so much fun writing with this ink just because it makes me wonder every time what color of shimmer I will see from the writing. And I have it inside this Opus 88 Omar, and the nib is the Pilot Barrel 3.0. Color comparison wise, the Spadina Rose is quite similar to Sailor Security Yutsubame. Although in writing, I think Kashmir Rose would be pretty close as well, even though Spadina Rose have quite the colder undertone. So yeah, these are all the pens that I have for you today. What do you think? Have you ever tried any of Amarillo Stationery inks yourself? Let me know and see you on the next one. Bye bye!